live, and we are going live now. Hey everyone, welcome to HT Media One. I have Mr. Joe Smith himself. Listen, guys, this is going to be a great show. I want you to comment below, interact. We have got a show for you. But in the meantime, what I would like for you to do, if you have not done this, I would like for you to subscribe, hit that like button, comment below, say hello. We will say hello back, and we will get started shortly. Okay, so welcome in, welcome in. This is the HT Media One show. Thanks for joining. I greatly appreciate it and having you here. I have a terrific dude. His name is Joe Smith. He is a Tubi original. He is kicking out content like never before. He has so many things on his genre. He is a movie music producer. He is an all around dude. He's multifaceted, multi talented. Name it. I don't know what he can't do, but we're going to bring him up shortly and we're going to get this started. So, thank you everyone for coming up and coming out. Be sure to say hello. We will say hello back. Again, we are promoting Joe Smith to be original, his mainstream. He has his own platform as well. So we're going to get started. I want to make sure that everything is good. I'm going to pin his information. If you have not seen his movies, you are missing out on a treat. So I'm going to have that information down below in the comment section. So make sure you go there and we will get it started. So I want to welcome him in, Mr. Joe Smith himself. Be sure to talk. We will talk right back and we're going to get started, have this conversation. And I'm going to show you some of his clips, some of his work. He has excellent work. But in the meantime, we're about to get started. I am ready. How about you? So, what I want to do now is just to welcome Joe in just one moment, and I will bring him right up. Joe Smith, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Well, hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining. I greatly appreciate it. We are going to talk about some of the things that you do. You are so multi talented. What can you not do? What is a fun fact about Joe Smith that we don't know that you would like to share?
I'm a workaholic.
We already know that.
Yeah,
We definitely know that.
and I get
We,
pleasure from working more than so it's not really work for me.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it's really not work. So you like working. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. So we're going to talk about Diamond Girls. We're going to talk about a good man. We're going to talk about Dance with the Devil. We're going to talk about Good Men Part 2 that is coming up. We're
Hmm.
going to talk about those things. So, we're going to start with Diamond Girls. I know that you started it off with uh, a play. Now, do you write all your material?
Yes.
You do. So you
Yeah.
don't have a team like, so that's good. How long does it take?
Um, so for me, typically, if I just sit down and really dive into writing a script, it'll take about 2 to 3 weeks. You know, providing I don't get writer's block or get stuck. So typically
Exactly.
about 2 to 3 weeks, start to finish.
Start to finish.
Mhm.
Okay. So I know that you did music. Well, you still do music. You do everything pretty much. 2 to 3 weeks to write the play, to write the movie. So you're like, and I don't want to, but I consider you like the next Tyler Perry that's coming up
Oh,
because you're putting it out there. You're doing it for Detroit. And your name is going many, many places and many, many rooms. And it looks like everything attached to you is winning. And so I'm so happy for that for you.
thank
Well,
you.
you're very welcome. So, Diamond Girls, where did that come from?
So Diamond Girls was basically a came from a couple of places. One of them being the story of my mother, my actual birth mother, was murdered when I was 6 years old. She was dating guys in the streets, and the streets caught up with her. As a result of what she was going through because of the guy she was dating. And then, as I got older, different women, females that I knew in my neighborhood growing up, and different women that I've met along my journey, just in adulthood, just hearing their stories. It dawned on me that we always, whenever we talk about the street life, it's always coming from the perspective of the men, from the drug dealers and the guys in the street. And I recognize that we never tell the story from the perspective of the women, and from the real women that I knew, and hearing their stories, I'm like, the women have a whole different type of story or perspective on that lifestyle. So I came up with a fictional story about four young women, and kind of wrapped up, a lot of what they each one of their stories represents like a different version of women dating guys in the street life. So that's pretty much where that came from.
Wow. So it was a part of your story and others.
Yes,
Wow. And
absolutely.
it only took you 2 to 3 weeks to write that.
Well, the stage play script, because it was my very, very, very first stage play.
Uh huh.
It took me about 2 years to get that script done, start to finish, because it went through all different kinds of manifestations while I was learning the process of writing a script. So that one definitely took longer. But when it came time to do the movie script, which was literally about 10 years later, then it was a little quicker of a
It was a
process.
little quicker. Okay. Okay. So you write all this on your own. So, how do you find the talent? And I know that you know a lot of people. How do you go from, you know, the, well, man, I know you. We cool like that. And but you want to make sure that the talent is there as well. How do you go through that with friendships and not, if you don't choose them, or if you choose them or choose them over someone or understudies, you know how sometimes that can go. How do you deal with that in friendships? Is that a hard thing or no?
I'm not typically casting friends per se. When I put out casting calls, all kinds of people show up. Mostly people I've never met. But now that I've been doing this a while, um, my name is out there. So, a lot of people, and then I've done quite a few movies, and then all of my friends are filmmakers. So now I've met quite a few people. A lot of people know me, I know them, but I wouldn't necessarily call them friends. They are more so business associates. So they understand that, when they come to try to get a role or read for a part, that it's business. So I haven't dealt with anybody. I have a couple of friends that are actors that are like, "Hey, when you gonna put me in one of your movies? Come on, put me in a movie." And I always tell them the same thing. It's like, well, I haven't, I don't have anything that I feel like you would fit for. And as soon as I do, I'll think of you. I'll call you. So for me, it's all about who fits the role, who would do the best job in the role. That comes before any and everything. Everything else is irrelevant to me. Making sure that the art is respected is the most important thing to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you're such a cool dude. You have a comedic side and you it's such a great communicator. You would relay the message really well, where it's receptive and not, they're feeling some type of way. Well, they're saying in the comments that Joe Smith is awesome. And that he is. He is an awesome dude.
Thank
And they
you.
and they said that they want to work, get an opportunity to work with you when the opportunity presents itself.
Mhm.
um just go to tag him in his page. Joe, let them know where they can follow you on your social media platforms, and we're going to tag that in there as well, so that they can come and know when you're casting, you're doing a casting call and things of
Mhm.
that nature.
So on Instagram, it's Millionaire Joe, all one word, at Millionaire Joe. You can definitely find me there. Facebook is Joe Smith, and in parentheses, Millionaire Joe. You can find me there as well. I'm also on TikTok, but I don't remember what my TikTok name is. Let me see.
Now you got this. You got to get on TikTok. You gonna blow up there.
I don't fool with TikTok now. I don't fool with it. I get tired of learning all these different platforms.
Man, listen, you need to
Hey,
be
hey,
on there.
it's Millionaire Joe on TikTok too. Boom.
You're Millionaire Joe on TikTok, Millionaire Joe on Instagram. That's where you can follow him. He's going to get active on TikTok as well. We're going to make sure of that, because that's where you're going to blow up at. So,
Okay.
um,
Fair enough.
you can get a lot of followers and everything. And we're going to uh, tag his movies. If you have not seen his movies, you are missing out on a treat. So, Diamond Girls was the first stage play that you did, right? And
Yes.
the first movie that you did was what?
Diamond Girl.
Diamond Girls.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then the next one was,
The next movie,
yes,
the next movie was A Good Man.
was A Good Man. And
Yes.
everyone loved, loved, loved that show, right? So,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that. How long did it take you? Well, this is A Good Man part two. Listen, I want you guys, if you are in the Metro Detroit area, this Saturday, March 30th, it premieres at 7:30 p.m. at the Riviera Cinema. It's located at 30170 Grand River Avenue in Farmington Hills. Tickets are available at eventbrite.com, and we're going to put that in the comment section as well, where
Uh-huh.
you can purchase your tickets. Make sure you do that. Make sure that you purchase your tickets for this event. Good
Uh,
Man Part Two. Good Man was awesome. People showed up. The actors was great.
Thank you.
Joe really know how to put it on. He did his thing with this movie.
Mhm.
And when you go to his events, It's classy. You don't have to worry about anything. You feel safe. You feel protected. You have fun. You know, he's very jovial. So you're going to have a good time. So make sure you come out this Saturday, March 30th. It premieres at 7:30. Now, if you want red carpet, you can do red carpet. That's at 6:30. Again, Joe, can you put your link, the Eventbrite link, in the comment section if you have it?
Sure.
Yeah, because we definitely want them to come out. So, since we are talking about a good man, part two, what I want to do is just show them a clip, and I want you to talk about that clip, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's
How may I
take
help
a
you?
look.
How may I help you?
Well, my daughter's been missing for several months now. I mean, no phone calls, no text messages, nothing. I feel like her fiance has something to do with it.
Everything you went through, it stressed me out. So I got a therapist. Because I want to understand why you did what you did so I don't make the same mistakes.
Wow. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I went to A Good Man. And when I tell you it was a love story, it was a thriller, it was action, it was even comedy in there. And so it was all things now. And it was a little gory too. So, I mean, it had everything that you could really it was just everything. It was a thriller. It was action. It was a love story. And it was kind of gory. Not horror, but you were shocked. And I loved that effect. I really did. So, how long did it take you to come up with that? And where did
Uh,
that come from, Joe?
um. So basically, it was just kind of like I was thinking about this earlier today. Like, where did I get a good man from? So the genesis of it came from a conversation I was having with a friend, and we were talking about how men don't uh, men don't recover from being hurt the way women do. Like women are more emotionally elastic than men. So a woman can get her heart broken by a man, and even if she's angry, even if she's devastated, even if she's bitter, she can still bring herself to love again. Whereas a man, when we get our heart broken, it damages our ego. And there's men who go to their grave and never recover from that. There's men that once they get hurt like that, they'll go the rest of their lives, angry and hurting and broken. So so what my friend said, she said women don't understand that when they break a man's heart, they're damn near taking their life in their hand. And so I was like, whoa, that's deep. And so
Deep
that was
but
kind of the
true.
genesis of, yeah. So that was kind of the where the seed was sown. And then uh another friend of mine told me a story about somebody that they knew where this guy had married a girl that he grew up with in his hood, from the hood, that he had always had a crush on, but he was like a square dude. And so he married this girl and built her a house from the ground up and all of this kind of stuff. And he had gone out of town on a business trip and came home early. And when he came home, he caught her in the bed with another guy from the neighborhood who was a street dude. And so it explores that idea of, when a woman is in love with a guy and a guy is kind of like her soulmate, and that guy kind of has a grip on her heart, that you can't just pull her out of that by being nice to her or spoiling her or treating her well. She has to break those soul ties. She has to uh, heal and do the things that she needs to do to break free of that relationship in her heart and her mind and her soul. And if she doesn't do that, and then you come along, you could very well find yourself on the receiving end of some heartbreak. So it was all of those kind of things that kind of went into that storyline. But yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of deep. And I am glad from a male perspective to say what I totally agree with you. Now, as a woman, of course, we've all been heartbroken, men and women. But women, we somehow adjust. It may take time, but we somehow adjust. We regroup, we gather ourselves together. Some, not all, because there are some fatal attractions as well. But women are more apt to pull it back together and move on. Whereas, and I really, because I don't want to seem like I'm male bashing, and I really don't want to sound like that because I'm not. I love men. You guys are strong. We need you. You know, we want to be, or we want to feel protected by you. You know, we want to feel loved by you, and that if we're around you, we feel safe. But men, if they're heartbroken, they become, some men, not all, let me repeat, some men, not all, some men become destructive. And
Absolutely.
they'll tear everything up around them. And it doesn't matter who it is or relationship to them. When I always say there's a warrior in every man, no matter how big, small, tall, skinny, none of that matters. There's a warrior in every man, and you never want to tap into that warrior to tip that other side where he becomes angry, because sometimes there is no controlling that part. And so, yeah, I totally agree with you. And sometimes a good man can be destroyed from a relationship that they are in love with, because men are not apt to fall in love like women are, because they'll guard their hearts quicker. But when they do, you should definitely watch out for that. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm so glad you tapped into that, because it's true. And most males, or most men, not all, but they don't want to say that part. So thank you for sharing that.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Somebody said facts. Okay. So yeah. But we love you guys. We appreciate. So why is it so hard for men to fall in love, Joe?
Just because what I just tapped into is that it's more of a risk for us, and I think a lot of men don't, the risk to reward ratio is not there enough. The it's more dangerous for us to be vulnerable, and to run the possibility of having our egos crushed, or being hurt, or being wounded. It's just, for some men, it's just not worth the risk. What is the upside of that? To a lot of men. So I think that is the reason why, and it really takes a strong man to be confident or be comfortable enough to roll the dice with their own feelings and emotions.
True.
So yeah.
True. Okay. Question.
Mhm.
Okay. Are you single, married, relationship? Do you want to be married? Will you ever get married?
Sure. I don't know if I want to get married. I want to get married, but then there's part of me that's like, I'm getting older, I'm setting my ways, I'm a loner, but we'll see what happens. We're not gonna rush nothing.
Sorry for putting you on the spot, but I'm sure there's some out there that want to know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. I'm sure they do. Come see my movie.
Definitely. And he will greet you. He's a nice guy. Definitely come and support.
No,
You
not
see,
come. No, not come see my movie so you could shoot your
we're
shot.
not saying that. We're saying come
I'm
to support the content.
yeah. I'm pivoting to come see my movie.
March 30th.
Yeah. No, and
Okay.
I'm being funny, but I mean, I keep my private life private, and that's my preference,
Absolutely. I
Mm.
totally agree.
Yeah.
Had to ask that. So, Dance with the Devil.
Mhm.
Where did that come from?
Um, it was kind of like a thing of me tapping into the idea that a lot of times the younger generation can be very arrogant in thinking that just because somebody's older or just because somebody's from a different generation than them that they are not with the business, and not knowing what somebody's background is, not knowing what somebody's history is, and thinking, oh, this is just somebody older, they don't know nothing, they stupid, they whatever. uh, Sometimes they can get in over their head, and that's what kind of happens in the story. These three young thugs see this older guy living by himself and just living his life out quietly, and they think that he's going to be an easy lick, and they don't know that he has a very, very dark past. And so they kind of get in over their heads. And so the moral of the story is just leave people alone, because
That
you don't know
part.
what somebody's history is, you don't know what their past is, and you don't know what they're capable of. So just leave people alone, quit bothering people, quit thinking that you're all powerful and invincible, and not understanding that it's people out here that's got dark pasts, and they just want to go and mind their business. So I'll tell you a story. So a friend of mine, well, he's more of an associate. He used to be an enforcer for a very, very large drug organization that was popular here in the city of Detroit in the 80s. And he was known, all throughout the city. This guy was definitely a killer. Like, he's got bodies. And he ended up going to prison for 30 years. Uh, and ironically, the murder that he went to prison for, he didn't actually do. One of his boys did it. But when the murder got pinned on him, he wasn't a snitch, so he wasn't gonna say, "I didn't do that. My boy did it." And I think that he just felt like he had did so many murders that he didn't get killed, that he didn't get arrested for. He just took the fall. So he did 30 years. He came out prison a few years ago, and him and I connected, and we were talking about doing a movie on his story. And so I was talking to him, and I'm like, bro, I was like, it's a lot of people that might not want to have the story of this drug organization made public or told. And I was like, what if people got a problem with you telling the story? And mind you, this guy did 30 years in prison. He's a whole different person. He got out of prison. He went to school. He's like, you know, just recently got married. Like, he's turned his life around. And I was like, man, what if people in the street, got a problem with you telling this story? And he was like, if they got a problem with it, they can come see me. He's like, because I'm still that guy. So it was like, and I saw the look in his eye, like, whoa, like, he's still that guy. In other words, what he was saying was, um, he's even though he's turned his life around, he's still capable of defending himself if he needs to. And so that's kind of what the main character in Dance with the Devil is about. He's like, I got a dark past, but I'm still that guy. So check out Dance with the Devil. Ha ha ha. Uh oh. You there?
What happened? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. You had just went out on us, but thanks guys for staying in.
Oh,
Listen,
you couldn't hear me?
no, you had went out. You were circling out. You had faded.
Oh, I'm just going on and on and on and telling stories and everything.
Yeah, but see what where we left off at is that you knew a dude that he had bodies. It was in the 80s. It was a part of. We can continue on from right
Oh, okay.
there.
They saying they could hear me. Okay.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Did
Thank you
y'all hear
guys
the
for
whole
sticking and
story though?
staying.
Do I need to tell the whole story over?
You don't just start from, you shouldn't judge people by what they look like, how old they are, no ageism, and just because a person is quiet or, they live by themselves. Yeah, there.
Yeah, okay. So they heard the whole story. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I
they
was
say we
like,
heard
man,
the whole
that was
story.
a long story. So
That
yeah,
was,
so
but a
for the
good
most part,
story.
my homeboy, he's a little older than me, but this guy was definitely a killer back in the 80s, and it was just, the look in his eye when he told me, hey, I'm still that guy. It was like, yo, like that was dope. So that's kind of what Dance with the Devil is based on. And another part of it, so he was telling me a story of that a young guy, he had gotten into a argument with a young guy, and so this young guy probably was just born when he was going away to prison, and
That part.
this young guy just thought he was like some older guy, and they had words, and the younger guy was talking greasy to him. And it's like, bro, like this dude, you don't know you talking to the Grim Reaper right now.
Okay.
Like this guy, his job was selling drugs and murdering people. So, like, you might want to chill out, even though he's mellow and he's an older cat and he's laid back. You might want to leave this one alone. Just walk away, young blood.
Just do that. Just do
Yeah.
that.
Just walk away. So
Well, let's
that's
take a
Dance
look
with the
at that
Devil.
clip.
All right.
Okay, real quick, and then we're gonna let you continue.
The first song. And it reads, he that dwelleth in the secret place shall dwell in the shadow of the Almighty. Lord, I will say.
Okay. So
Oh, that was the whole clip? I thought you.
I can only show a little bit. Copyright.
Oh. Oh, I could have sent you the clip so you could play it.
Yeah, that would have been
Oh.
great. But
Oh well.
But listen, guys, I'm going to post his movies, all of them, Diamond Girls, A Good Man, Dance with the Devil, in the comment section or in the description box on YouTube, because we're streaming on YouTube and 2 Facebook pages, as well as Joe Smith's page as well. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go on, click on those links, and you can just go directly to his page and look at his movies. But you were saying about the gentleman and the young dude that was treating him greasy but didn't actually know who he was really dealing with.
Yeah, you just got to be careful, and it really also kind of speaks to just even not coming from a perspective of violence, but just coming from a perspective of respecting. We got to respect each other. We got to respect the older people that came before us. We got to respect the older people. Got to respect the younger people. Everybody just need to respect everybody, because who knows what people are capable of. So just everybody respect everybody.
That's great advice. And that's true.
Yeah.
Never judge a person,
Mm-mm.
by how they look or how they carry themselves, or if they're quiet, or if they seem like an introvert, or even if they're extrovert. Just be careful. Just treat everybody with kindness. That's
Absolutely. And there's also a B plot, what we call in script writing. Excuse me, script writing, a B plot, which is the one of the gangsters was a pastor's daughter, and then the pastor's son runs to the streets as well. They both go to the streets because they're disgruntled about their dad being a pastor. They're disgruntled about, growing up in church and, wanting to get out and see the world and experience the world and experience what's going on out in the street. And so that's kind of the B plot, the subplot of how that whole thing can happen and what the consequences are from pursuing that type of lifestyle.
Absolutely. Being a PK's, well, not me being a PK's kid. So some PK kids or some children or some grown-ups now, like I grew up in church. Here's a fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Smith grew up in church, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
He's a manly man. He's a strong man. He's a creative man. He's a talented man. He plays. He writes. He does it all. Growing up in church, and if some people do not know, he's played for and with and was the music producer of the Clark sisters, Dorinda Clark Cole, Fred Hammond. He has worked with some of the best, and he is one of the best. So that's why he was able to do that as well. Can you tell us about how you kept it grounded, or about how you grew up in church and how, I mean, because of course you want to deal with the secular, growing up in church. I grew up in church somewhat, but I still did outside things. I was outside, So, you have to have a well-rounded uh lifestyle. Can't just be all church, because some religions, and we're not going to get off into that, they may not be able to go to the show or go skating, or if they do that anymore, go boat, or just doing outside things, or with their groups or with their peers, things like that. How was that for you?
Yeah, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up in a Baptist church, and so
They say you are an awesome musician.
thank you. That's my man John. He's in a good man too. Big
Yeah.
John.
Hey, John, thanks for that comment.
And I grew up in a Baptist church, and so my household was extremely balanced. My mom that raised me, she taught Sunday school, and her and my dad owned a bar. So I grew up with duality, in my household.
Okay.
We had the Millie Jackson records right next to the Hawkins records. We had Al Green 8 tracks, and we had Andre Crouch 8 tracks. We had all of it. So we threw house parties, and my dad did construction, so he built a bar in the basement so we could entertain company. So I didn't grow up in a house where I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. So it was really a good situation for me. And then growing up in the hood, especially I grew up on the North End. So in the 70s as a kid, and then a teenager in the 80s, when crack came along, I saw a lot. I grew up seeing murder. I've seen people get murdered. I've seen people, get shot. I've seen people saw a guy get beat to death with an axe handle in front of my house, seen people get stabbed. So I grew up very balanced,
Wow.
and yeah, so it is what it is. I did my dirt. I ran the streets. I hung out in places. I've been in I've been in dope houses before. I've been in after hours joints when they got raided. I've been in I've seen a lot, done a lot, been a lot. So been through a lot. So definitely not sheltered. I wasn't sheltered growing up. And of course my mother tried to shelter me, and me being a musician, because I was also playing professionally, playing keyboards professionally as a teenager. So I thank God that, me traveling and doing gigs and doing studio work, kept me from going all the way out in the streets because a lot of my friends sold drugs. A lot of my friends ended up in jail. I got a friend that I grew up with, he went to jail for murder. A lot of my friends went to jail for drug dealing, and, music gave me something else to do, and so that was the blessing of that, but definitely wasn't sheltered.
So you're all around guy. They are saying we all love Joe.
Yeah.
You receive so
Like,
much love.
thank you. Yeah, like I was going to the strip clubs at 16, and I wasn't supposed to, but I had facial hair. So,
Really?
yeah, I had facial hair as a teenager. So the first time I ever went to a strip club, I was hired to be the musician for a wedding, and I played for the wedding rehearsal, and then after the wedding rehearsal, all of the men in the wedding party were going to the strip club. So they were like, "Joe, you're going with us." I'm like, "I'm 16." They're like, "You good?" Just when we walk in, so there used to be a strip club on Finkel called Watts Club Mozambique, where
Watts Mozambique.
they had male dancers, but on
Yeah.
Tuesday nights they had female dancers instead of male dancers. So they were like, "You're going with us." So I'm like, "Okay." So it was like a big group. So it was the groom and all the groomsmen. So they like, "We're gonna put you in the middle, and when we walk in, just walk in together." And so that's literally what happened. We went to Watts on Tuesday night. They used to call it Tuesday Night Freakout. That was when they had all the female dancers. So it was a big old line of us. They put me in the middle, and we just all walked in, and nobody said nothing. And so then, of course, I'm turned out at this point. I'm like, there's breast and booties everywhere, and I'm 16. This is great.
Yeah, 16. Wow, come on.
And so then it was like, I went back a couple of times after that with some older friends, and they didn't ask me for my driver's license. So then I'm like, let me try this by myself and see what happens. And lo and behold, they were like, "Come on in, buddy.
Come on, Joe.
You got your facial hair. You look old enough. Come on in." I'm like, "Bro, I'm 17, literally 17." But that was so yeah, definitely I was outside. I was outside from 15 until. So I was outside.
And
I went outside with the strip clubs though. At a certain point, after so many years, that got old. So.
Yeah, get a burnout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm tired of that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to see so many breasts and booties before it's like, I'm not paying for this anymore. This is ridiculous.
I love the stories. I love it. I'm familiar with Finkel Avenue, Watts Mozambique, Henry's Palace.
Yes. Now, see, so we had a routine. Me and my boys, we had a routine.
Okay.
So Watts had female dancers on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Henry's had female dancers on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays.
Oh, you remember the days. Okay.
Yeah. So we had a whole routine. And then if we wanted to go and we didn't go on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, or a Sunday, then we would go to Tigers. So Tigers was on Woodward, just past 7 Mile. So that was like the other strip club days. If we wanted to go to strip club on the off days, and then of course on the weekends we would go to the after hours. So you had the Triangle, you had the Outcast, which was like a motorcycle club. And then you had what was that on the east side? It was the
Climax.
Not the Climax. Well, Chi-Chi's.
UBQ.
No, I'm talking strip clubs. I didn't go to no regular clubs.
Oh,
I didn't want to see nobody with their clothes on. I wanted to see the women with their clothes off.
You know what, Joe?
No, I didn't go to no UBQ. I went to the regular club one time. I went to Van Dyke's Lounge.
Okay. Okay.
And me and my homeboy was, because we was used to going to the strip club. Me
Right.
and my homeboy was literally sitting in Van Dyke's lounge like, what time are they going to take the clothes off? They too dressed in here. I don't like it. I need to see some breastises.
You know
So
what?
we were sitting there like, hey, man, let's get out of here, man. Go to the Tigers.
I cannot. I love it. I love
And
it.
so we go outside, and literally somebody got shot to death in their car, like right outside as we left. So that was the other sign, like, yeah, let's go to the strip club.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well-rounded, balanced life. So you had a taste of both worlds.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So if you guys, some of you may know and some of you may not know, Joe Smith is also known as Minister Joe Smith.
Yep.
He is a prophet, believe it or not.
Yep.
He can tell you what thus saith the Lord. He's very brilliant. He's very smart. And he's kind. But again, he's very tactful as well. Now, he can love you and put you in your place at the same time in a loving, manly way. And you know that he's being real and you know when enough is enough. So, yeah, love that about him. Love his character. And a lot of people can't say that. But yeah, you got all sides.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Oh, you done took me back to Watts Mozambique, Henry's Palace, and yeah, Finkel Avenue. Yeah.
What was the name of that?
That was when clubbing was fun.
What was the name of that after hours? It was off of Harper and Gratiot. Oh my God. And I was in there one night and they got raided. What was the name of it?
Oh no.
That's gonna bother me because it was a really popular. Where are my street people at? Y'all know what after hours. I need to street people on here from the 90s. What was that after hours joint? It's gonna come to me. And I'm gonna text everybody on. I'm gonna put it on Facebook so everybody on here can know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I lived a life of utter debauchery.
But see, hey, that's a good thing. You know both sides, and so and that's good. That's a balance. I see nothing wrong with it. I used to club, work and club. I lived for the nighttime. I did so, but I went to church on Sunday. Every Sunday I was there. Just left the club on Saturday, Friday and Saturday.
This is terrible. What I'm about to say.
What?
This is terrible.
What?
Wait a minute, Monica. What's the diamond shaft? That sounds like
I'm looking at that.
A men's place. Now, I didn't think with no men's places now.
Now he's a manly man.
Where I was Monica, what's the diamond shaft, Monica?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, ma'am.
After hours, they said no. Okay.
So one time, I used to play. Oh, she said dancing only. Monica, I just told you now. I didn't go to no regular clubs. Now, once they took me to the strip club at 16, I didn't want to see no people dressed. Well, I didn't want to see no women dressed. I didn't want to see no women with their clothes on. Now, how could I enjoy an environment where all the women are dressed when I know in my mind up the street they not dressed?
I cannot. I can't. I love it.
I don't want to go nowhere where I gotta undress them with my eyes. Just take me to where they already undressed, and we can just cut to the chase. So one time I was a musician. I was a musician at this church. Again, we're going back to the 90s.
Right.
I was a musician at this church. So this church had 8 a.m. service and 11 a.m. service.
Mm-hmm.
So one night I stayed at the after hours so long that I was like, I might as well just go to church.
Might as well.
I literally church started at 8. I probably left the after hours at 7 something. So I literally went home. I had just enough time to go home and put on my church clothes and went straight to church. No sleep, no nothing. Just went and played for the Lord after I had just had breast and boobs and butt in my face all night. It was
Okay.
terrible. It was terrible. It was
But
terrible.
look at
Yeah.
who you are today.
Yeah. So at that time, at that age, at that time, it was my job. I saw playing at church. That was my job. That was my employment. I hadn't evolved in my relationship with God yet. So, I was a mess. But
Yeah.
God, oh my
But
God.
God, won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Yes, he will.
So again, yes, guys, you will love this guy. I love his personality. You see his character. You're gonna love his movies. Good Man Part 2, Saturday, March 30th. Meet us there. Better yet, beat us there, because guess what? All his events really be crowded. So you may want to get and parking, OMG. So yeah, you want to get there early, about an hour earlier, so that you can get a good park, or you will be walking the parking lot. How do I know? Been there, done that.
Wait a minute. Q said, what did I walk into?
An all-around interview that we talk about everything on HT Media. It's called Can I Be Real? And so we're going to keep it real with everything. And that's a part of life. And if you know Joe, then you know.
Yeah. Shout out King, shout out Q, shout out to my niece Shanitra, shout out Candace. These are all my film people. Shout out Jonathan, shout out Tiff Trill. All of these people I've worked with in the film world. We had Maserati Rick's son in here, Richard Carter Jr. He was in Diamond Girls. So these are all my peoples.
Well, we thank you for coming and showing up and showing love. I know that you guys love Joe and everything. I know. What was that?
I'm in my office and the lights are automatic. And so the lights cut off after a while.
Okay.
Keep going. Keep talking.
Yeah. So we do appreciate you showing up. But again, we have a special event. Well, he has a special event, which I will be there Saturday, March 30th. I'm going to keep reiterating. You can go to eventsbright.com to order your tickets. It's $35, right? Is it something?
Yes. Get your bread up. Get your bread up.
It's going to be a good time.
Hey, Monica Morgan.
So, yeah, definitely you want to come out to the Riviera Cinema in Farmington Hills, 30170 Grand River, Saturday, March 30th at 7:30. You see how you see the character that he is. Not Joe is always the same.
Because they going nuts in the comment section. King, that was Mr. Nasty time going.
Yeah, okay. That's what King Leslie. Hey, it's like, okay, yeah. We went back. We went back to the 80s, because we were talking about Dance with the Devil, and
Yeah, it went downhill from there, guys. Sorry you had to witness that. Sorry y'all had to learn me like that. Some of y'all didn't want to know me like that. My niece didn't need to know all them stories.
Oh boy.
So I'm glad I left some out.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. Okay, moving forward.
Yeah, let's just move on past that.
Yeah. But it's always good to know that we all have a life, we all have history, we all have a past. But thanks be to God and all his glory. Yes and amen. We are changed, but we're still human, right? So
absolutely.
A Good Man Part 2.
Yes.
And also, another question that I have, and guys, if you want to ask him some questions, put it in the comments below. We are reading them. So if you want to ask Joe something, he said that he is open to answering some of your questions. And then we're not going to keep him long because we do appreciate his time. However, when you're creating the movies, the venues, the spots, how do you do that? What would you tell a person that may want to get off into creative writing, writing a movie, writing a
Mhm.
script? What does it entail? What are some of the steps that you can tell them that might help them on their journey?
Um, Study the craft of screenwriting. There's tons of books, there's tons of YouTube videos, that you can learn the actual craft of writing a script. Um, King Wesley just said something very important. Write to your budget, so that you don't. I got a friend right now, that who's an author and got into script writing, and basically wrote a movie that's too expensive for her to produce. So you gotta think production when you're writing. You know what I'm saying? So don't write the main character driving a Rolls Royce if you don't have access to a Rolls Royce. Don't write that your character lives in a mansion if you don't have access to any mansions. And so those are very, very important factors. There's some stories that I want to tell. There's some script ideas that I have that, right now I just don't have the resources to bring that to life the way it would need to be. So I already know that. So we put those on the back burner and we write for what we can do. So yeah, those are very important things. Learning story structure, learning what makes, because I see a lot of movies where the concept is really great, like, but the script is horrible or the acting is horrible or something. It just wasn't executed well. And I mean, to the point to where I've seen some movies where I was like, man, I want to do that movie over because the idea is dope. Like the concept is fire. It just wasn't executed well. So those are some important points.
Okay, great. So how do you acquire like some of the like Airbnbs? Do you do that or like some of the stores or the churches? I know you have a lot of people. So you have to get out there and know people. You just ask, you inquire. How do you do that? Or get
Yeah,
permission to be able to film there?
yeah, it's a combination of things. You reach out to people that you know, friends that you know. Um, the office that we use in A Good Man is, a friend of mine. She owns a business in Southfield, and so it's just, hey, can I use your office to, shoot a movie in on the weekend when you guys are closed? Sure, but but then the downside to that is, you can't keep using the same locations every time you do a movie. You got to produce new locations. So definitely Airbnb is a big one. Peer space. And I've even had members of my cast that knew people, that supplied locations for us. So, locations are, a challenge, as well as cars. Sometimes, I've rented cars off tour roll. I've rented cars. I've borrowed cars. So you just gotta. That's part of what being a producer is. You have to be able to come up with the things that you need to make the movie happen, and be resourceful, or put people around you who are resourceful that can help you get it done.
Absolutely great advice. By you being the musician that you are, soundtracks. Do you do all your soundtracks or do you reach out to some of your colleagues?
Yeah, I don't do any scoring, any nothing with music in my movies. Just because by the time I'm done with the movie, I'm pretty creatively depleted. And so film scoring and all of that is very involved. So it's like, okay, I wrote the script, I produced the movie, I directed the movie. I don't want to then have to do the score. So I have other people that do that for me, and They do a great job. I sign off on everything, of course. If there's some changes that need to be made or something that I'm not feeling in a certain spot, then I'll let it be known. But I completely take that hat off. I take the music hat off. As a matter of fact, last year, uh, a film producer hired me to score his movie. So I was scoring somebody else's movie while my movie was in post. So I wasn't even scoring my movie, I was scoring their movie. And I only did it because they gave me a check. Yeah, right. So it's like, well, bring it on. Let me put some music on now.
I got this. I got this. Huh?
Got you, bro.
Look, the Bible says money is the answer to all things. Now
It do
that's
say
what
that.
it says. That's the
It
word.
do.
But it says the love of money is the root of all evil. But that's the scripture. That's the part that everyone knows. But they don't read that first part. It says it's the answer to all things.
Absolutely.
So I definitely want the answer. What about you?
Absolutely. I need that answer. I need the answer. Money.
Okay. Well, tell us about your Tubi journey. I mean, because I'm on the social media platform,
Mhm.
YouTube, TikTok, IG, being
Mhm.
monetized and things like that. Tell us or inform someone that may be interested of putting their things onto Tubi. What are some of the things that you can tell them, or how should they go about it?
So yeah, you basically have to have either a distributor or an aggregator to get to Tubi. Tubi does not deal with filmmakers directly. Um, so if you have a film or some content, you have to go through a distributor. I have a great distributor that I partner with on my projects, it's really straightforward. The process, you have to have certain deliverables in place that you submit, and then it goes to Tubi, and you're able to monetize your content from the ads. So Tubi is a free ad supported streaming platform, and they split the ad revenue with the filmmakers 50-50. So when you watch the commercials, that's money, and then Tubi keeps half, and then they pay you out the other half. And so Tubi has definitely been a godsend. There's been other platforms, Amazon Prime Video and some of the other ones, but Tubi has by far been the most lucrative for independent filmmakers. And it gives us an opportunity to do our art, to create our art, and to eat from it, so that we're not just out here starving artists. And it creates a whole ecosystem, right? So, as a producer, I'm able to hire actors, I'm able to hire crew members, so then they are able to eat and feed their family. Then that leads to, other, opportunities for them. So, and let me say this. I'm going to speak to something right now since we're talking about Tubi, because there's a lot of, Roland Martin, put out this video, and now everybody's in an uproar talking about Tubi is owned by Fox and it's owned by Rupert Murdoch, and we need to quit putting money in their pocket and blah, 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 blah. And let
Yeah,
me
I've seen that.
let me say this. First of
Speak on
all,
it, Joe.
first of all, everybody, if people who work 9 to 5 jobs, you are not going to your job every day questioning the politics of who owns the company you work for. You
That
know,
part.
and you go to work every day because at the end of the day, it's transactional, period. You go there, you work, you do your job, you expect a paycheck. You take that paycheck, you feed your family, you pay your bills, you live your life. And it's business. It's not about whether the guy who owns the company I work for, or the lady that owns the company I work for, votes Democrat or Republican, or what their stance is on abortion, or what's this and that and the other. You go, you do your job, and it's the same thing. We are filmmakers. Tubi is a platform. It was bought out by Fox. in 2020, and it's transactional. It's a business deal. It's a business transaction. So I don't know if the people that own Tubi now or who owned it before, the Iranian guy that owned it before. I don't know if he beats his wife. I don't know if he strangles his kids. I don't know if he snorts cocaine. I don't know if he watches kiddie porn. It doesn't matter. It's a transactional relationship. Same thing with Fox. I understand, Rupert Murdoch and all this kind of stuff. And people talk like, well, Fox owned UPN or whatever the network was back in the day, and they used black content and used black people, and then they got rid of them. And after they got big enough, it's like, okay, so knowing that, then while Tubi is paying, I'm going to take my money. I'm going to use this opportunity to grow myself as a filmmaker and grow my platform, and then take my money and figure out what the next move is. It's business. It just keeps moving. So if Tubi shuts down today, or they kick all the black content creators out tomorrow, okay, cool. It was a great run. What's next? Let's move on to the next thing. Like I don't take it personal. It's not, I don't take it personal. It's business, guys. So all of that, pro-black stuff, and not that I'm knocking being pro-black, but I'm saying, this selective outrage, and we're just so outraged about Tubi being owned by Fox. You didn't even know that. You didn't even know that until the man told y'all that. Y'all was watching Tubi, y'all was enjoying the movies, so just keep doing that. And y'all putting money in Rupert Murdoch's pocket. Well, guess what? Tubi has 74 million monthly active users. There's only 40 million black people in America total. So, all the black people that's here don't watch Tubi, guys. It's black people I meet all the time that's like, oh, Tubi, I heard of that. Or, yeah, Tubi, I got that on my phone. I don't think I've ever watched it, though. So them 74 million people that watch Tubi every month, it's only a percentage of those that are even black people. So at the end of the day, everybody's watching Tubi. So even if we go away, that's cool. We are, I won't lie, black content is a great part of, we're one of the fastest growing demographics on Tubi. But at the end of the day, man, it's transactional. It's business. We put our content there. There's an audience there. They love the content. They watch it. Tubi makes money. We make money. Everybody goes on their way. If Tubi shuts down tomorrow, there'll be another platform. We'll just go there. It's simple, guys. And don't get caught up in all of the goofy stuff. I'm sorry, I got on my soapbox.
Oh no, this is informational. And yes, it's all business. As a content creator, it's all, you're entertained by it. And again, guys, I'm going to put all his movie links in the description box, and also on this comment section. We're going to pin it so that you guys can just go directly to it. We are going to support. Everything is business pretty much. So everything is transactional, just like he said.
And I'm not to cut you off, but now I do feel like we still do need to build our own platforms, and we still need to support black platforms and other platforms that are up and coming. I'm all for that. But I'm gonna support that as well as make my money too, because I ain't gonna be supporting and broke now. We can't hold on. Now, it don't make sense.
None at all, because we just said we want the answer, because the Bible says money is the answer to all things. And so we definitely want that answer, and nothing is free. Nothing, right, except for, the love of Christ, but nothing else is free, nothing. And he even paid the price. So we're going to let that be that on that. So we are definitely here to support you. And speaking of platforms, you have a platform, Mainstream. Talk about that.
So yeah, Mainstream is coming. We're launching it the end of this year, first quarter of 2025. We're still working that out when the launch date will be, but Mainstream will be TV, film, music, podcasts, and live events all on one platform. Just like Tubi, it will be free ad supported content. So there won't be a subscription fee. There will be some content on there that you will have to pay a one time. So, for example, if we're live streaming a concert by an artist or something, we may charge an admission fee to access that content, just like if you're watching pay per view. But I'm really excited about this platform. Right now, we're in the building stages of it. We're seeking out investors. We're building the team. I have a great team. It's been amazing the way this team has come together. I think I saw the COO on here earlier. I don't know if Danielle is still on here, but it's just amazing how things are coming together with that. And so it'll be on smartphone apps, so iOS and Android, as well as smart TV apps. So, Samsung TV, Android TV, you'll be able to get it. Yeah, there go Danielle McMillan. She is my COO for mainstream. She lives in Chicago, and she is a beast. And so that was very important to me to build the right team. I also have very, very, very successful content creator, Angela Barrow Dunlap. She is a nationally renowned playwright, filmmaker. She is my chief content officer. We're just interviewed somebody to be CFO for the platform last week. So we're just building right now. We're putting a team together. And we just finished our pitch deck so we can go out and raise the money. So this is going to be huge, guys. This is not just going to be some little rinky-dink platform. This is going to be fire. So if Tubi does decide to kick us all out, we'll have somewhere to go.
Come on over to mainstream, right? Upcoming soon, and we will definitely keep you posted on that. You know how Joe do. So yeah, so it's so important. You were speaking about teams. Tell us about
see my
the
inviting hands.
Come on,
hands inviting the content creators.
Come on, content creators. All right, I'm definitely going to be a part of that. Definitely will support.
What was your question? I'm sorry.
Part of the team. You talked about how important it is to have people working with you, beside you, someone that you trust, that is trustworthy. How do you build your team? And let me just say this, because sometimes you think that some of the people that are closest to you may not be there actually for you. How do you distinguish between the two? Because my thing is, who do you have surrounding you? Because surrounding and support is totally different. Because people could surround you and not be there for you. But people that is there and supporting you and giving you, good ideas or, helping you build, it's a difference. So how do you start your team? How do you bring people aboard that that you can trust?
Well, at the end of the day, you have to study whatever your industry is, and you have to study business in general. I've spent years and years and years and years and years and years and years studying business, watching YouTube videos, studying the stories of successful business people, successful CEOs. And the reason why that's important is because it teaches you what to look for in a team. So I spent years studying the stories of startups, different startup, who are the co-founders that started this company, companies we all know, whether we're talking about a Tubi, whether we're talking about a Uber, whether we're talking about a Facebook, who are the people that were a part of that startup and what characteristics did they have? And what caused the CEO or the founder to pull this person into the vision? And so once you identify that, then you look for that in the people that are around you, right? And so you're not just grabbing somebody because they're your cousin, or you're not just grabbing somebody because they go to your church, or you're not grabbing somebody because they talk a good game. You are actually able to identify the characteristics of a successful person that would be an asset to your team, right? So that's number one. I'm a very, very big proponent of um, identifying who and what is around you. So even though whether it's somebody I'm dating, whether it's a friend I work with in the movie industry, whether it's a friend, a dude that I hang out with, I'm always asking people, what's your skill set? What did you go to school for? What do you consider your strengths to be? What do you consider your weakness to be? I ask these types of questions because I want to see if there's somebody around me that has potential to help with the vision. I want to tap into that. And they may not even be aware that what they're good at would be an asset in a certain way. Because somebody, even that may have gone to college, they may not even be working in the field that they went to college for in their everyday job. Or they may not know that what they have as a skill set is actually something that would be valuable in a business setting. So I'm always looking for opportunities to bring things out of people, right? And to tap into what somebody, even themselves, may not know is there. Now, in doing that, you're going to get some duds, right? So I've put people in position and they crashed and burned, and so it's like, you take the good with the bad. But and then the other thing is prayer. Like, I definitely pray and ask God to send me what I need, like, and definitely that's what happened. So I'm gonna tell you the story of Danielle. So Danielle, who is my COO.
Hey,
I
Danielle.
Hey, Danielle, I met Danielle 30 years ago.
Wow.
Danielle was a cast member in a stage play that I was music director for, and we were on tour together.
Okay.
And I knew back then she was I think she might have been 17 or 18 years old then. Great singer, great, very talented girl. So then she moved back to Ohio and we lost touch. I literally hadn't seen her since the 90s. We were Facebook and social media friends, but even on social media, we didn't communicate. So two of my business associates here in Detroit, she's friends with them. She came to town to visit them, and it just so happened to be the weekend of a Good Man film. I mean, not a Good Man, a Dance with the Devil film premiere. So one of my business associates was like, I got a surprise for you. And they were like, here's Danielle. So I'm like, holy crap, I haven't seen you in 30 years. So Danielle is there at the film premiere. She had no idea of what my films were like. And so Danielle was a co-founder of Israel Houghton and New Breed. Danielle traveled extensively as a singer with Fred Hammond. She's an excellent songwriter, studio vocalist, producer. She's dope. So when she saw my movie, she was like, she was like, I have a songwriting camp of young people who write songs. How can I get their music in your movies? And so that started us to having conversation. That conversation of her putting music in my movies went to a conversation about mainstream. And when she heard about mainstream, she just went nuts. Like, she lit up and she just started spewing out contacts that she had and people that would be good for the platform and people that could help with the vision, from her friend that's an attorney to her friend that's an accountant to her friend that does this, friend that does that. And here's the process that you need to put in place. And here's what you need to do. So I had a meeting with the whole team. She traveled back here to Detroit. This is about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We had a meeting with all the team members, all the founding team members, and she just had so many great ideas. And I was like, yo, you need to be the COO, because she was doing the COO job She just didn't know it. So that's, again, going back to the tapping into what's in front of you. And so even though she didn't see it, I saw it. I'm like, yo, like, she's assertive. She don't take no stuff, but she has a calm hand. She has a soft hand. She has a good approach. She's business oriented. She's task oriented. She has resources. She's bringing those resources to the table. So that is what made me say, yo, you need to be the COO. And literally ever since I put her in that position, she's been on it, which helps me because I'm still making movies, guys. I'm still writing scripts. Somebody just hired me to write a script and turn their book into a movie. Somebody just called me today about producing their short film. So I'm still making movies. So with Danielle, she's able to handle a lot of the details so that we can still get mainstream up and running while still doing these other projects. So praying and asking God to send me the help that I need is how she showed up. That's where I haven't seen this girl since the 90s, right? So this is the way God operates. And then her coming on board is now bringing all these other resources. She's still sending me people and still sending me, hey, this guy in LA that I'm cool with, you know, he wants to be a part of the vision. And this guy in, you know, this girl in North Carolina, she's really dope with administration. I think she would be a great personal assistant to you. Boom. It's all coming to fruition. So that's how you find people, man. I don't know. You know, God gives when you hear God, people say when God gives the vision, he gives the provision. That's not just about money. That's about resources, and your greatest resource is people. I feel like I went long on that one, but I had to break that down.
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, give her accolades. And she's, from what you just said, she's definitely not a gatekeeper, because there's so many gatekeepers that is in any industry that will not share connects and will not share something with you that can take you to that next level of where you're trying to go. So she definitely sounds like an asset to the team. So that's a great asset to have, Danielle. He gave you your flowers. From what he just said, you are a great person with wonderful attributes and, you know, building the team. And that's what it's all about, working together for a common goal and not being that crab in a bucket, because I don't want you to get further than me. Well, wait. You know, or how do you get these many subscribers, or how did you do that, or how did you do this, and not share any info. And we know, as I know, like I'm building as well, it's people out there like that. So again, as I said before, it's a difference with people surrounding you as supporting you.
Yeah.
And she seems to be supporting you, as well as being around you and looking out for your best interest and the team's best interest, and for it to go further. Because I call you the next Tyler Perry, because you're going upward and forward, and you moving and shaking in all genres, and you're doing the doggone thing. And we're so very, very happy for you. We're watching you, you know, we're supporting you. We're doing what we can to do for you. And I always, like I said before, I thank you for always being so open to wanting to sit down and talk. You're never too big. Well, I ain't got time for that. You know, she only got 25,000 subscribers, you know, anything like that. I can't do that. I appreciate you coming to my platform. We have like over 40, 50 people watching. And I know it's because of Minister or Joseph Smith, Joe Smith Media. Again, guys, you see the flyers. Saturday.
Hey, why ain't nobody ask no questions?
Okay, so hey, he is open. He wants. Do you guys have any questions? Because I think I don't know. I may have some more now.
What's up with the questions?
Okay, Joe is the GOAT. That's what they say. You
what
see that coming?
Huh? Yeah, that's cute. Quanika is one of my mentees I'm really proud of Q. Like Q was in my first play Diamond Girls as an extra in 2012.
Yeah.
And
2012. So is
she
that
had an
when it
extra
all
role.
began?
Huh?
Is that when it all began in
Yes.
2012? Okay.
Yep. She didn't have no lines. She didn't have nothing. And so I remember a few years ago, she came to audition for me and like killed the audition. And so then she went away. So then when everybody started making all these movies, I'm like, yo, where's Q? Like Q needs to be out here. And so I text her. I can't remember if I texted her or called her. Did I text you or call you, Q? All I know is I think I called her. And I was like, yo, why you not outside? And she was like, what you mean? I'm like, man, they making movies here left and right. I'm like, you are dope. I'm like, you are dope. You need, yeah, I called. I was like, you need to get out here. Come outside. Come outside.
Come on, Q.
And Q was like, okay, you're right. And she had a lot of stuff going on in her life personally, but she came outside and now, like, how many movies have you done?
Told you to bring your ace outside.
Yeah,
Okay.
good plan. I'm like, you too talented to not be out here getting this love. So far, she's
6.
done 6 movies since that call.
Look at
And
that.
yeah, and she's got more coming up. She's in a Good Man too, and we're gonna do some more work uh, coming up soon. So again, going back to tapping into what's around you, tapping into the talent. I saw the talent in her, and I saw she wasn't utilizing her gift, so I jumped on her head, and so she's doing her thing. I'm proud of her,
And
and
that's
she
phenomenal.
and I be on her head too because Q would get into some folly. So I'd be like, Q, is you on the straight and narrow? You ain't in no foolishness, are you? She'd be like, no, I'm straight. So that's my girl. That's one of my mentees.
Well, welcome, Q. That's good. I'm glad that Joe encouraged you to come outside and you done the doggone thing with 6 movies. We do have a question from Kita. She said, how do we get casting information and how do we submit screenplays to you?
So casting information, I'll be posting it when I'm casting. I tell everybody who wants a part, like the best thing you can do for me is prepare a monologue, like a 1 to 2 minute monologue. The monologue can be a scene from your favorite movie. It could be something that you make up. I like dramatic. I prefer dramatic monologues, but I also will take comedic monologues. And the reason why I prefer monologues is because I want to see you act, and I want to see you do something that you're comfortable with. I want you doing content that you feel comfortable in, where you're not overthinking it. So I always tell people, give me a monologue. You can inbox that to me. I also have an email address, joesmithcasting@gmail.com, joesmithcasting@gmail.com. As far as screenplays, do not send me any screenplays until I have you sign a release. And the reason being is because if somebody sends me a screenplay and then I already have a movie idea that's similar to what your story is, I don't want nobody trying to sue me, trying to say I stole their idea. They sent me a screenplay and now they saying I done did their idea. I already had that idea, baby. Don't be trying. I don't have to steal nobody's ideas. I got a whole, let me tell you something. I could pull it up right now. In my notes, in my phone, I have a list of movie ideas, TV show ideas, reality show ideas, documentary ideas. I ain't got to steal nothing. But but I will read your screenplay, but I just need you to sign a release first, saying that I ain't gonna steal your stuff.
And what's that casting email again in?
Joe Smith Casting, all one word, @gmail.com.
Okay.
Bryson, what's up, Bryson? That's young Bryson. He was in Dance with the Devil. He was the preacher's son in Dance with the Devil. Young Bryson out here.
Hi, Bryson.
Now, how you done spelt the thing wrong?
I spelled it wrong?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
O.E.
jeez.
Smith Cat. Get that together now. You went to
My
Detroit public
bad.
schools.
You know what? You know what, sir?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There you go. Yeah, young Bryson is out here. He doing his thing. Rob Vincent. What's up, Big Rob? Rob is a very, very huge promoter of the Tubi film community. And so we love Rob. Rob keeps us in people's eyes and ears and conscious. So you got some heavyweights in your chat now. I want you to understand that now. You got some big wigs now. You done
Well,
had some
you know
actors
who's
fall
good?
through. King Wesley, Tiffany Trill, Q. You done had,
Welcome,
oh my
guys.
God, everybody coming through.
They
You got
coming to support
Bryson up and
Joe.
coming. You got everybody in the chat. You have Belda Hunter. Come on, man. It's
What
a
up,
party,
Joe?
baby.
What up? Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. I thought I seen another question for you. Let's see. I think it was from Gail.
Gail, what you say, Gail? Shout out
Yeah,
to
say it
Gail.
again, Gail, because it's going quick. And Q said, I appreciate you, Jill.
I appreciate you.
You putting Detroit on the map.
Yeah, and shout out, you know what? Shout out to all my other fellow filmmakers out here. You know, everybody. Shout out to Dennis Reed. Shout out to Moolah Films. Shout out to Blacksmith, Rocky and Janaea Black, Tanja Ayers. Shout out to everybody. BZ. Shout out to Lisa Brown. Shout out to Renika McQueen. Shout out to my bro, my other Smith brother, Kamal Smith. We the Smith brothers.
Yeah, you guys are really putting it down.
Yeah, shout out to all my fellow filmmakers, everybody. Casey Carson. I hate to name names because I know I'm leaving people out, but Casey Carson, everybody that's out here. It's a whole gang of us that's out here just getting her done. So
let's get it done, y'all.
Darren Brown. Who else? Who else I'm leaving out, y'all? Don't let me forget nobody. Willow and Meech, all those guys. It's a whole gang of filmmakers here. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate that, man. It's a whole gang of us out here that's representing for the 313 in the Tubi world and in the filmmaking world. And we don't want to just limit ourselves to Tubi because Lisa Brown's on Peacock now. Her content's on Peacock. Darren has got his movie on CW Network. So we ain't just boxed into Tubi. We out here. We outside, y'all. So shout out to all my fellow filmmakers, writers, producers, everybody.
We are definitely outside. You guys are making Detroit proud, showing up with the content. Thanks, Gail. Great show. I'm just a fan and supporter. It says, what inspired you to write A Good Man? Well, we covered that earlier, but Joe, expound upon that again.
Cue Jesus. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna tell it again. You know why? You know why, Q? Because just like you, there's other people in here that wasn't in here earlier. So you know what? I'm gonna tell the story again. Okay? How about that?
Can I be real? Talk about it, Joe.
So A Good Man came from I covered a little kind of two different topics in A Good Man. So the first topic was how you have to be careful when you break a man's heart. When you break a man's heart, and there's literally lines in the movie when Ari is having wine with her girlfriend, with her friend, and says, her friend is telling her, like, when you break a man's heart, you're damn near taking your life in your hands. Men don't handle breakups the way that women do. And so that came from a conversation that I actually had with an actual friend of mine that, when you break a man's heart, you're taking your life in your hands. because our egos are fragile. We are more emotionally fragile. Women are more emotionally elastic, which means you guys can get your heart broken and bounce back. Men have trouble with that. And then it also came from the idea that sometimes when a woman is emotionally tied to a man and has those soul ties that she can't break or hasn't taken the time to break, I won't say can't, but hasn't taken the time to break, and she tries to move on, even if she's with a guy that treats her good, even if she's with a guy that loves on her, even if she's with a guy that spoils her and does this and does that, that other guy will still have the ability to divert her attention if she doesn't break those soul ties. And so if you listen to the dialogue in A Good Man, that's really what Ari is talking about. She's like, I know he's not good for me, but I feel like I still love him. But I'm moving on. I don't want him in my life. I know he's not good for me. And she was standing 10 toes down on that until he shows back up. When he shows back up, it's like she feels those feelings all over again. And she's struggling with that all over again. So that's where A Good Man came from. Is just those relationship things that we don't talk about. Those deep seated feelings and things that we don't really address, that people need to be real about. Why are you trying to move on with somebody if you're not over the last person? They have that saying, there's no better way to get over an old love like a new love. That's a bunch of crap. You are, first of all, setting yourself up for failure, and you, second of all, setting the new love up for you to break their heart. Stop it. So
That part and I appreciate that perspective, especially coming from a man, because they always say women are so emotional, and I always tell them we can take more than what a man can take. We can take rejection more, men can't. There was just an incident, I believe it was, where was it? Well, it was two twin sisters, 19 years old. And because she said, no, I don't want to give you my IG. He's 20. He stabbed her to death. That happened a couple of days ago. And she was a twin. He couldn't accept rejection, And then, like I said, it's always a warrior in every man. But as women, we accept rejection, breakup, heartbreaks. Yes, we'll cry. Yes, we'll scream, but we'll build ourselves back up again. But there are exceptions, because there are some fatal attractions as well. So again, I appreciate your perspective on that. And we're just going to take another look at the clip of A Good Man Part 2 so that you guys can come out this Saturday, March 30th at 7:30. You're going to go and hit that eventbrite.com, order your tickets, and we're going to show up for Joe in Farmington Hills. So let's take a look at that clip. Since Q brought it up, we're going to take a look at it real quick here. And what else it was something else that
y'all come at 7:30. The movie gonna start at 7:30, y'all. Get there at 6:30 now, so you get you a seat now. You gonna come in there and have nowhere to sit.
Please get there at 6:30, because you're not gonna have anywhere to park. I'm telling you.
All right.
The parking lot be full. So get there at 6:30. If you can get there at 6:30, that is your best bet. Show up early or you will not have a seat. So this is the clip for A Good Man Part 2. It's just a short clip, but we're going to take a look at it.
How may I help you?
Well, my daughter's been missing for several months now. I mean, no phone calls, no text messages, nothing. I feel like her fiance has something to do with it.
Everything you went through, it stressed me out. So I got a therapist. Because I want to understand why you did what you did, so I don't make the same mistakes.
That was the clip of A Good Man Part 2. Guys, show up to support Joe, March 30th, this Saturday. Who's coming? Put it in the comments. If you're coming, put a number 5 on there. I want to see you. He would definitely be happy to see you there in the place to be. We'll be at the Riviera Cinema this Saturday at 6:30, so that you can get a park and a seat and get some popcorn and all of that good stuff. Show up for Joe. Go to eventbrite.com. He's going to put the link in there as well, and you can click on that too. You can click on that link. Well, Joe Smith,
That's
it
my
has,
good man. That's my good man to dance.
okay. You done picked up a few steps. Okay, I see you. All right, get it. Ooh, ooh. I definitely appreciate you for coming onto my platform. Wait, the stage play. Have you thought about other platforms? Have you thought about coming back to YouTube? Sorry, and put some of your things there, like maybe some of the stage plays and things like that, or no?
Yeah,
Well, you don't even want to do TikTok.
I know, right? Because it's so hard. It makes me tired.
Well, you got to get someone. You got to get someone to, do
I
your post.
know, because Bryson Steen. Oh, let me say this.
Okay.
No, real talk. So my niece Shanitra Kennedy, who's in the chat right now, she
Hey,
is
Shanice. Yeah.
she is
Hey.
a dope. She has a dope business. She literally can make. She makes all my t-shirts, all my shirts in my movies. When you see them wearing the police shirts, she makes all that stuff. All my mainstream merch.
She made mainstreams?
She made my merch for mainstream. She can put your logo on anything. She makes my coffee mugs, all my merch. She
Oh,
makes,
wow.
she does baskets. She does anything you need. Anything you need, go
Put
check
your
her
link
out.
in.
SMK Branding Studio. Anything
Oh,
you need, branding wise, merch wise, she will get you together. And she's dope. Like I watched her start from nothing and build it to where she is now. She's dope. So I started to
definitely
wear
check
my
her out.
mainstream shirt today, but I wore my polo instead. She don't make
Okay.
polo, that what the horse, but she will put your logo on there, everything.
Okay.
So
Well, you definitely got to post your link, Shanitra,
yeah,
so that we can promote your business, because there's a lot of content creators that will love to use you for their mugs, their t-shirts, and special events. Will she be at the premiere this Saturday?
she, she will be at the premiere.
Yeah, bring out
She,
some cards and some products.
yeah, absolutely. Anybody that came to the a Good Man premiere or the Diamond Girls premiere, she made all that stuff, the wine glasses, all the stuff that was in my VIP bags. She did all of that stuff. Like that's what she does. She does her thing. She's dope. And I'm not
Wonderful.
just saying that because she's my niece. Because if she sucked, I just wouldn't say anything. I would just say, "Hey, niece."
That you would do, Joe. We
Mhm.
know. We know you. So again, it has definitely been a pleasure. I have enjoyed this conversation. This It's a conversation. It wasn't even an interview. I have enjoyed it thoroughly, and it looks like they did too. But before we go, is there any more questions in the comments, or Joe, what would you like to say before we end the show? Because we've been on for, can you believe, almost 2 hours?
I know. I'm downtown, so I know I got a ticket.
Oh gosh. Oh
It's okay though.
no.
It's okay. I did $45. I'll pay it. It's not the first
Because you
time.
got that bag. You running it up. You running it up. You got a
Yeah.
big bag, big bank. We know.
But yeah. So I get, amen, amen. I received that. I received that.
Yeah.
But my parting words would be, follow your dreams, and and I don't just mean that in some mystical, magical way. Don't just believe. The Bible says faith without works is dead. So whatever you're believing God for, you have to be faithful in that and prove your faith by studying to show yourself approved. So if you want to be a filmmaker, an author, an entrepreneur, uh, whatever it is you want to do, start a podcast, do this, do that, study it, study your craft. And when I say study, I don't just mean watch other people's podcasts. Do that too, but read books about it. Watch YouTube video. YouTube University literally has everything on there. If you want to learn how to do surgery, there's probably videos on YouTube that'll show you how to do surgery. Like, so make yourself a student of whatever it is you desire to do. Make yourself an expert at it, right? So that's the works part. And then also the works part is step out. Don't be scared. Like, step out and do it. You know, even if you have to do it on the side while you keep your day job. You know, when you work 9 to 5, all right, from 5 to 8 or 5 to 9, you're going to work on your thing that you want to work on. But be faithful over what it is you want God to bless. I would have never met a Danielle to be my CEO for Mainstream if I hadn't stepped out and started Mainstream. You got to start. You got to start somewhere, you know, and even if things don't go the way you want it to go and you have to take a step back and regroup, or you've got to go back and get a day job for a few months because it didn't work out, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in trying and failing. There's only shame in not trying at all and criticizing people who are trying while you ain't doing nothing. That's where the shame is at. But if you step out and you don't fail and you don't, it doesn't go the way you want it to go and you fail, you know, failing is a part of succeeding. You learn your lessons and keep going. So that's my parting words. Step out. Don't be afraid. You know what? That's not accurate. I'm not going to say don't be afraid. Courage is not the absence of fear, right? Courage is not being afraid. Courage is the ability to go forward even though you're afraid. So let me clear that up. People think that courage is not being afraid. No, you're going to be afraid. I'm scared crapless about doing Mainstream. It's a huge vision. I'm building a company that I one day want to either take public or sell for $1 billion. So that scares the crap out of me, but I'm going anyway. You know, and that's, even if you look in scripture, Jesus was afraid to go to the cross, right? He was like in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was like, God, let this cup pass from me. I don't want to do this.
That's
and
right.
He prayed so hard that he had blood. He popped the blood vessels in his head. Blood was running down his head. That's how scared he was. But he said, all right, but if I got to do this, let's go. Right? So that's what courage is. It's not being afraid. Courage is being afraid, but being like, all right, let's get it. Let's do it. Pull those sleeves up and be like, all right, we going. I don't know how this will turn out, but let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. I have another question, and then we're gonna get out of here for real. Mm-hmm. What was your drive, your motivation? Because you're pushing out content like never before. I mean, you have one movie air in January, then you have something coming out in March. Oh, it's done. And then we're going to have something coming out in July. I was like, how? I love it. I love it. So what is your drive and your motivation that you are thriving and you are pushing and you are putting out great content? This is not just regular okie doke content. This is great content. So what's your drive?
Well, the first thing is the B part to what I just said, right? It is going even though you're afraid, right? But the good part about going even though you're afraid is that you normally find out that there was nothing to be afraid of the whole time. So once I cracked that code and was like, oh, there's nothing to be afraid of, and this is easy, we can do this. Then it's just like, okay, let's keep going. And it's like I said earlier, while Tubi is a thing, let's crack it. Let's keep going. And then the final answer to that question is, I got to give shout out, first of all, to my natural parents. I grew up in a household of entrepreneurship. You know, my father that raised me was an entrepreneur growing up. And so I saw him feed our family from being a businessman. And then secondly, my spiritual father, Apostle Wayne T. Jackson, and shout out to Dr. Beverly Jackson. The examples that I saw in front of me was that not only was this man a pastor, he was a successful entrepreneur. And he has been. This man built a multi-million-dollar TV network from nothing. This man, was a self-made man, like built himself up from, I remember the conversation that we had in the 90s where he was successful in business. And he said to me, he said, I'm worth $1 million on paper. He said, but within the next so many years, I want to be $1 million liquid. And a lot of people don't know his story, but he invested in some stocks, and it was a penny stock. And I remember him telling the church about it. And he invested in this penny stock. He bought a whole bunch of shares of this penny stock. And that penny stock went up to over $1. And when it shot up to over $1, the shares that he had in that stock translated into millions of dollars. And so people don't really know how my pastor became a multimillionaire. They think he became a multimillionaire from taking money from the church. I'm like, nah, this man gives more money to the church than he takes. And so watching him just continue to build and then pivoting from the stock market to real estate, having a huge real estate portfolio, then pivoting from real estate to cryptocurrency, and just watching his example of being not only a man of God, but being a successful businessman, and watching him flip things. It's like, okay, this is my pastor. So if this is what my father is doing, this is what I should be doing. I should be walking in his footsteps. So that's where my drive comes from. It's seeing success. You're going to be what you see. But even if you don't have a pastor that's a successful businessman, like I said, YouTube is full of success stories. Get on YouTube and Google millionaires and Google people, real estate moguls, and Google this and Google that, and start filling yourself up with these success stories. I'm tired of Black people gorging themselves on victim stories and how we're being mistreated. Yes, we are being mistreated. And how we're being held down. Yes, we have been held down. But there's a lot of success stories of people who started from nothing, who are now successful. Study those stories. Okay, we all know the trauma. We all know the police shootings and all that kind of stuff. And yes, you should educate yourself on that. But study some success stories, man. Stop feeding yourself trauma and us being held down and white supremacy and oppression and all that kind of stuff. I want to see the people who succeeding in spite of that stuff. That's who I want to hear from. How are you making it in spite of? How are you a millionaire in spite of? Or how are you a 600,000-aire in spite of? Or how are you 300,000-aire in spite? How did you overcome in spite of the obstacles? That's what I want to hear. Those are stories I want to hear. Who's living good? Who's doing good? Who's making money? Who's got successful businesses? Who's got successful marriages? Who's got successful families? Who's successful in crypto and real estate? And that's who I want to hear from. I don't want to hear no whole bunch of oppression stories, because we Black, so we know the oppression stories. Let's get into the success stories, guys. Come on, man. Come on, man.
That part right there. And listen, just because, your story, everybody may not understand the path that you're going. So you got to know that if that's what you want to do, that's your passion, that's your purpose, that's your gift inside of you, regardless of what some others may say or what they may think. Well, we don't know how that's going to go, this, that, and the other. It's just like when I started my YouTube platform. I started with 0 subscribers. Now I'm over like 25,000 monetized. Yeah. So it's a process, but everybody didn't understand it. What are you doing that for? But I kept going anyway. And it was people that had more subscribers than me, and I surpassed them because I kept going. So it's about consistency. Yes. It's about what you believe. It's about your dream, your passion, your goal. Go for it. And sometimes you have to do it in fear.
And congratulations to you on that. Like, that's huge.
Well, thank
Congratulations.
you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. So, guys, March 30th, this Saturday, come out. If you want to meet Joe Smith, and I know a lot of you know him, but for the ones that don't, if you want to meet this great man that's putting out great content, come out Saturday, March 30th at 6:30. Please get there early so you can get a park and a seat. And its location at the Riviera Cinema, and it's going to be at 30170 Grand River Avenue in Farmington Hills. We're going to link all that information later in the comment section. I'm going to pin it. I'm going to also pin all his movies as well. A Good Man, A Dance with the Devil, Diamond Girls. We're going to put all of that in there. So let's support Joe Smith. Thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate you. I
That's
greatly appreciate.
That's the Good Man 2 dance. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a Good Man part 2. Okay. I see you. I'll see you Saturday. And so we want to see you do that dance on stage and always giving us that encouraging word. Either it's before or either after. I forgot which one you do, but we appreciate those words of encouragement because it gives us that push. It gives us that drive, and to see you do it makes us want to step out even more. So even if you don't think that you know what you're doing in others' lives, you are doing a great deal. Even from afar, you may not know. So we do appreciate everything that you do, and we are here to support you. So again, everyone, thank you for coming out supporting Joe Smith, and thank you for coming out to support HT Media One. Can I Be Real podcast? It has been real. I hope that you guys have a phenomenal night, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. See you next time.